So you want to get into entrepreneurship, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what mindset to have to take that leap of faith from going from your regular job or 9 to 5 into being your own boss. I want to chat about a few mindset shifts that you can make to get those steps in place. My name is Riley, the owner of Flair Visual Productions, and I went from working a 9 to 5 at a bank to being my own boss, owning a 6-figure video production company in the matter of just a few years. I want to chat about this as a lot of people probably think that they're on their own on their journey, that they're lonely, they're too scared to make the jump because their friends and family might not be saying the most positive things about owning your own business, that, oh, your job is secure and you can't go wrong with a pension and all this stuff. In reality, you just want to break free and be your own boss. This isn't going to be some crazy get rich, get quick scheme or anything like that. I kind of just wanted to share my story and kind of just relate to what you can do in the matter of just a few simple things that you can do every day to get into that position about owning your own business. So let's get started. The first one is that no one is coming to save you. And I know it is very cutthroat and definitely a tough love situation, but it's true. I think the biggest thing is that if you're working a job right now, 9 to 5, let's just say in the corporate world, you're like waiting for that perfect moment, or maybe you're also waiting to be like, one day I'll figure out what I want to do when it comes to owning my business, as I ran into a lot of that. When people are like, oh man, it would be cool to own my own business, but I don't know what to do. I think the first thing is going to be getting into like podcasts, audiobooks, and really just absorb the content. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I got out of a breakup a few years back and I was just kind of lost on this journey. And what I did was I started listening to some audiobooks, and then I bought a camera. And then after that, from buying a camera, I started doing photography on the side when I worked at the bank full time. And then it slowly transitioned into me doing some videos for some businesses. I then started doing my video production full time, and I actually worked part time at the bank for about a year and a half. So it wasn't a quick transition. And what I'm trying to get at is that I educated myself to try and find something that I can do in my free time to make a little bit of side cash, and then that'll transition into a business full time, right? So at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you, and it all starts somewhere. And if that's self-education, I completely advise you guys do that. So if you're trying to build a profitable business, I think another term that a mentor actually taught me was it's not going to be short and sexy. And what I mean by that is that it's not going to take just a snap at the finger and you have a list of clients on whatever business you made, and it's not going to be super smooth sailing. The biggest thing is ultimately just trying to get over obstacles, because there will be tons of obstacles thrown at you. And instead of being like, oh man, I just want a $500,000 landscaping business, I want to do that a year and I want it tomorrow. But the problem with that is you're going to be running into so many obstacles that you wouldn't know what to do with if you just magically landed a $500,000 landscaping business, if you know what I mean. It just takes certain types of obstacles working your way up. Right? The first thing that is probably the hardest is like tax reasons, bookkeeping reasons, invoicing, all that stuff. So if you had a $500,000 landscaping business tomorrow, you just magically popped in there, you would have no idea what to do with that. But let's say you buy a lawnmower and then you start invoicing, you start looking at, for tax reasons in your state or province or country, how to deal with that, what income you should do. It definitely is a whole lot easier to just ease into everything. And like I said, it's not going to be short and sexy. Even when it comes to client objections or even selling yourself, that's another big one, right? You got to take the time to really digest and learn from your mistakes when it comes to obstacles and objections. And over time, you'll just keep the building blocks. And when you do good work in your business, other people will hear about it. And next thing you know, you'll have a fully scalable company. And with that being said, education is a big thing. And don't get it twisted, I'm not talking about university or college here. What I'm going to kind of expand on what I said earlier is podcasts and audiobooks. So if you're already watching this video, fantastic, you're already doing a first step into the right direction. But what I'm trying to get at is really digesting the content and really, really looking into mentorship as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got mentorship within my video production business path, and it was the best thing that I've probably done in my business. Like, way better than any camera I could have bought, any equipment, anything like that, is finding somebody that is doing what you want to do. And honestly, just like take them out for lunch one day if you know him, or him or her, or maybe it's online and there's a fitness coach online that you really aspire to be like, and be like, hey, I'll slide you $100, $200 to hop in a call. I have a bunch of questions. Come with a notepad and just ask as many questions as possible. And I'm saying this right now, if you're scared to do that, a lot of business owners are more than happy to show you what they do in their day-to-day because they just love being a teacher. So I think that is going to be an absolute huge one, is just finding a mentor and looking what they do day to day and just jotting down as many notes as possible. And if you can like even be with them day to day, that's huge too. Now, education, podcasts, audiobooks, really diving into the content. I know with my job, well, not my job, but my business is I do a lot of sales, right? So I digest a lot of sales content. I'll put a list of my favorite audiobooks in the description. So that's going to be like sales. It's going to be mindset stuff, owning your own business stuff. I just want to put that down there. And when it comes to podcasts on YouTube, there's just so many things that you can watch. Honestly, just type in self-development, running a business, exactly how you found this video. It will go an absolute long way. Another huge one is, I'm sure all you guys heard this, you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So with that being said, if you're in your early to mid 20s, hell, even late teens, early 30s, whatever the case may be, there's a huge chance that maybe you don't have a lot of friends that are on the entrepreneurship journey, and that's okay. I know I wasn't. I found a couple people that I can go for lunch with every now and then that do entrepreneurship, and we relate in so many ways. But what I'm trying to say is get out of your comfort zone. If your friends are in 9-to-5s, or maybe they're working jobs that are just stable, like they're jobs, right? It's all right with finding new people out there that you can go for lunch with every now and then. No, I'm not saying cut your friends off. My friends are like the most supportive people around me, and I'm so grateful for that. And they want me to see me win, which is more than I can ever ask for. But what I am trying to say is expand your horizons a bit. Find somebody that's on the same journey as you, that you can chat with back and forth about, oh man, I had to work at 10 p.m. last night. This client wanted something rushed or whatnot, or bookkeeping things. What I'm trying to say is that it's super important to have people in your circle that are doing what you do. So if you're running a business the right way and you're showing your clients that you truly give a shit, and you take pride in what you do, and you keep your clients accountable, it's going to compound. And what I mean by that is like owning a profitable business that, again, you actually give a shit and you actually try hard and your clients can see that. It's kind of like a savings account. At first, there's not a whole lot there, right? You're just putting money into it, aka with a business. You're also just having a client here and there. You're really struggling to get off the ground. I'm telling you right now, if you're having a shitty month where you're not getting any clients or any new clients, or maybe a couple clients signed off for financial reasons or whatever that is, you really want to make sure you double down in those months and keep at it. There's a handful of times in the past few years where I'm like, man, I haven't made anything this month. Is this for me? Like, am I crazy? And then I just keep my head down, keep doing outreach, keep doing marketing for myself. And next thing you know, it compounded. And in 3 months after that, I had my best month ever, right? So you really want to make sure that when you're having those really crappy months that you double down on marketing and outreach. Because at the end of the day, if you go broke or if you are struggling, you just find a part-time job, right? And that's the biggest thing. And with that being said, also knowing when the part-time job is not sufficient enough and to go full-time within your business and vice versa. Which leads me into my next thing. Now, here's the deal. When it comes to working a full-time job and you do your business as like a hobby, or you have a part-time job and your business is your full-time gig, or when you're absolutely full-time, there's no other income streams, it is super important to know when to make the jump. Now, I heard from a mentor that what's the best thing to do is that there's nothing wrong with diving into your business full-time if you're not making as much income with that, and then you have a part-time job. In fact, I did that for a year and a half, is have a part-time job that covers your rent or mortgage or your vehicle, your gas, and having a part-time job that covers all of that necessities. And then when it comes to your business, that's going to be like your kind of fun money, maybe your, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be your income that you don't necessarily need. That way, if you have a few months in your business that really isn't that well, and maybe you make $0, you're not really stressing because your mortgage, your house, your vehicle, you got food on the table, your utilities, that's all paid for, right? So I think that's going to be a big one, and there's nothing wrong with that. I worked at a bank part-time for a year and a half. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And even my buddy who does exactly what I do, he actually got a part-time job, and I was super supportive of that because I was like, listen, man, there's nothing wrong with picking up 15 to 25 hours a week of steady, solid income, and then you just double down when you're home and just go hard in the paint, right? So that's another big one, is knowing that. When it comes to leaving the part-time job and doing your business full-time, you want to make sure your business is doing double of what your part-time job is doing. So let's say within your part-time job, you're bringing in $3,000 a month. You want to make sure your business is doing like $5,000 to $7,000 a month before to doing your business full-time. So that's going to be all for today when it comes to mindset stuff and jumping from having a job to owning a business full-time. Leave a like, subscribe, and I definitely want to do more of these, and if the support's good, I'll also do more. So yeah, if you have any questions as well, leave them in the comments, and I will put those audiobooks and podcasts as well. I might throw a couple podcasts in there that you guys can watch on your own time to educate yourself and own your own business.